Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. So I am pre-apologizing because today's intro is gonna be a lot longer than most of mine, but as my friend Jill from Yester Kitchen says, every dish has a story and this one is extra special. So I am gonna be making my mom's famous American spaghetti. Now, why is it called American spaghetti? I'm not really sure, but I think it's because she normally uses like a pot roast, which is like an American thing, and that's what she always used to call it. Now, my mom is in her 80s now. She's still alive and kicking. She lives mostly in Puerto Vallarta, but then for a couple months out of the year, they come back to California. And so she was here a few weeks ago for her birthday, and I sat her down and I'm like, Mom, I am going to try to recreate your American spaghetti. Now, the unfortunate thing is my mom is one of those people that never writes anything down. No way. So she just sort of said, well, you need a little of this, a little of that. So I'm like, oh, great. Now I've had her American spaghetti for 40 years. You'd think I would know exactly what was in it. And I did watch her a few times make it, but I never really paid attention because, you know, you just don't do that. But I think I've nailed it pretty close, and I think she would be impressed. So it was really a popular thing when she made it. Like, all my friends would be like, want to come over for dinner, and it's sort of, you know, it takes quite a while to make it because you have to cook the meat really low and slow in the oven so that it completely falls apart, but it is well worth it. And you can either use a beef roast or a pork roast, and it just kind of depended on what she had that day. And also it needs to have some fat in it, but not super fatty, because the fat is going to give it flavor, but we don't want a bunch of fat in there. So let's see what else. Yeah, I think you're gonna like this. It's just it makes a lot too, which is why she didn't make it all the time, because it probably feeds like 10 people at least. And of course the leftovers the next day are amazing. So I hope you guys are gonna give this a try. My mom will be thrilled. And I have not actually had, let's see, probably about 15 years ago was the last time she made it. So when I made it the other day, it tasted pretty spot on. And so the amounts I'm gonna give you in the description are pretty accurate, but feel free to improvise, add whatever seasonings that you like. And yeah, so with all that said, let's get cooking. So the first thing you're gonna do is take a large saute pan, put about a tablespoon of oil in there, and you're gonna either use about a 3-pound boneless pork roast or a beef roast. My mom made it both ways, depending on what she had. And then you're gonna brown each side really well. Now you're gonna take a packet of Lipton onion soup mix and put that on the bottom of a big casserole dish. Just sprinkle it on there. Then next you're gonna take about 1.5 cups of beef broth. My mom always just uses that better than bouillon, and just put that on the bottom. And then you're gonna put your roast inside and you're gonna cover it tightly. And now you're gonna cook it at 250 for 4 to 6 hours, depending when it gets fall apart tender. And you'll know that when that happens, because when you take a fork, it's just gonna kind of shred into pieces. So here's the pork, and you can see it's super tender. Okay, and then what you're gonna do once it cools off, you're gonna shred it into bite-sized pieces, whether it's the beef or the pork, just like that. And then you're going to take a package of spaghetti. I had linguine, but you could use either one and just boil it. And then you're gonna take 14 ounces of either crushed Italian tomatoes or diced tomatoes with the juice. Sometimes my mom would use the crushed and sometimes the dice. And we're just gonna add that in with all the broth and the meat. So I have my pasta going, And now she seasoned it. There's no really amounts, just a nice hefty sprinkle of garlic powder and probably about 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning. And then we're gonna put about 3/4 of that box of the cooked pasta into our mixture. And you're just gonna give it a nice stir till everything is combined and that juice is gonna soak into the pasta. And now she put a generous dose of the powdered Kraft Parmesan cheese, not the fresh shredded. And then she also put a generous sprinkling of dried parsley. Or of course you could use fresh, but I'm just going on how my mom made it. This is just more of like a guideline. And there it is, you guys. It is so good. You have got to give it a try. Thanks for watching.